So don't mind me, I just play a little bit. I'm excited. I've been blessed with a gavel tonight. I thought maybe we're gonna have a rowdy. I thought we were,
Usually your voice isn't enough that commands the meeting, you know.
I thought we were gonna have a rowdy crowd tonight, so she gave me something to throw noise with. Motion to open the meeting.
Motion to open the meeting.
Motion from Jack.
Second.
Okay, so the meeting's open. Introduction, I'm Mark Colvin, Chairman of the ZBA. And over here,
Ed Spencer.
Larry Quinn. Jack Clump. Tim Rowland. Rick Hall.
Ann Heinz.
all right. So first on the agenda tonight, we have Mill Street. So who's here for Mill Street?
Yeah, just by way of background, Mr. Fietta had previously been to the planning board. He owns 8 lots that are kind of adjacent to each other, and some front on Genesee, most on Mill. And he presented to the planning board a plan to adjust the lot lines among those 8 existing lots to basically maximize the utility of the property for building purposes. Because of the code, the planning board needed to refer Mr. Fietta and his application to the zoning board because of frontage issues and size issues. After the planning board meeting, Mr. Fietta appeared before the Historical Preservation Commission because one of the properties at least is within the historic district. And so they wanted to review and offered their input onto his proposed lot line readjustment. I was not at that meeting, but as I understand it, as a result of that meeting and the input from the Historic Preservation Commission, Mr. Fietta now has a revised plan for consideration, which will require variances. And Code Enforcement Officer Jones is, I know, down in his office trying to run through which lots need what variances, but in all likelihood tonight, probably the best thing that can happen is Mr. Fietta will get a sense from the board if his preferred plan is acceptable to the zoning board, and then he'll reappear next month for the appropriate variances. But so that's kind of how we got to where we are here
Okay.
today.
For the variances, is it required to have a survey, an accurate survey, or is that
It
can be secondary to?
we would need at least dimensional input, which Mike, like I mentioned a minute ago, Mike Jones, I think, was working on downstairs.
Okay.
He wasn't sure that he had enough information that he'd be able to pull it off for tonight.
Okay,
But you can now listen to Mr. Fietta and he can correct me or fill in the things that I've
all
missed
right.
for how
Motion,
we got here.
motion to open the public hearing.
So. Second.
Hello, is there, don't hear any objections? Meeting's open. Mr. Piata, you have the floor.
Okay, like he said, I went before the Historic Commission and they basically didn't want me to alter any of the property lines and take up any of that existing historic property. So now I just wanted to go back and possibly get one additional lot behind 125 Mill Street, which I think Karen gave you a copy of the.
So that's the only change you're proposing to that one lot there, because I thought there were some other changes.
Well, there's some other changes on Mill Street, but that's the first change.
Got it, okay.
And I originally wanted to combine 2 lots on Mill Street, 115 and 117. I wanted to combine that lot and have enough area taken away from that combined lot to allow a driveway at 113 Mill Street. Because that's the only house that would not have a driveway. In the winter months, it's kind of a necessary thing to have a driveway. They don't allow on-street parking there. And hopefully that one combined lot would enable someone down the future to build a small home there.
Mike Jones obviously has just joined the meeting. I'm passing around a worksheet he has done up after he's looked at the most recent configuration that Mr. Fietta and Historic Preservation Commission talked about at the Historic Preservation Commission meeting last week. So, Mike, you might want to
Yeah, I just put this together in the last
20 seconds.
15, I'll say 10. So got a couple lots. First, 115 and 117. The square footages are that.
Which is less than the 10,000 square feet that's required under the code for lot size.
The original size lots are first indicated. And then making lot 113, 470 square foot bigger than the original. 1344 to 1814, adding that 10 foot to that. To number 117. So it makes that lot bigger. The new lot area for 115 and 117 would be 4838.
Is that for both, for each lot individually? Or is that the total?
Total.
Okay.
Lot 125. Was 19,201. So when you add the flag lot in there, that new lot would be 7,770. Proposed new lot will be 11,431. And with a 30-foot frontage to the flag lot. That makes sense. They're adding to the second parcel. 470. You're going from 19,201 to 770. On the lot 125 parcel. And the proposed new lot would be more than the lot area of 11,431, give or take.
So what are the variances that he needs?
That would be for the frontage for the new lot, 30 feet.
So it's not big enough?
Right.
Okay.
It meets lot coverage.
Is that the only variance on all of these proposals, or is there other variances with the other two lots that he was changing the dimensions of?
More of a lot line adjustment on the parcels itself. It looks busy, but none of these properties meet current zoning now, other than the one main lot here. We're just adding the new lot to the backside of it, so you need a 30-foot frontage
Yeah.
instead of the required 65. None of these are 65.
And the new lot code is 10,000 square feet, you said. But is there an upper limit on the lot size? Okay, so what we're asking for is ultimately a variance on the 30-foot versus the 60-foot.
Yep.
And then on the other two lots, the variance would be the fact that they don't meet the requirement of 10,000 square feet.
Right. You're enhancing them other properties more than what they are now.
Right, but you're still not getting up to the current code.
Right.
Which is what the issue is.
Right.
Okay, I was just trying to understand what the exact issue was to make sense of it.
Or lot line adjustments, maybe. Some of the lots, most of the lots bigger except for the one. That's just to integrate the other lot into it.
So in essence, he's making the lots closer to the minimum size of the lots, but not actually achieving that because he can't. That's that a fair
But-
assessment.
And these frontages all have to change, right? To the new plan. For what the current is.
What do you-
The three lots that would be changed to two.
Yeah.
The frontages would be altered, but
Yeah.
probably meet the requirement, it sounds like.
Yeah. So. House number 113, you got a 28 foot lot. Is that right, Pete? Sounds familiar. 28 foot,
Yeah,
you know,
28.7.
so you're adding 10 to that, so now we're up to 38.
So basically, all the lots are non-conforming and the frontages are not all the frontages are gonna get to 60 feet. And in addition to that, we're moving the lines to make them bigger, but they're still, even with the lines being moved, they're not gonna be made to the current code. So we're actually looking for the variance that allows us to recognize it's non-conforming. And that we can accept that, which means that in logic, you could accept that the frontage can't get to 60 feet. There's no way. If you made it to those 60 feet, you need to make the road longer, right? So there's no way to fix that problem.
If there wasn't, these last three houses in there, you might be able to do something. You know, expanding the frontages.
Well, I think we just tear the houses down, and start over.
That's not-
Tell them 100 years ago.
I'm talking about the three new ones that are there. I wasn't talking about the old ones. I'll leave the old ones there. They're fine. It's the new ones we gotta tear down now. I'm being facetious, but yeah, I get it.
I know you went through, you know, the trouble having Cottrell. With the last plat. Drawn up. You know, to the 10th. And then he went to the HBC and, Craig put this together. And then. You know, a couple red lines here and there, so it looks messy, but that's basically what we got.
All right, so it sounds like, looking at this, I mean, to solve the problem. It just looks like we have to realize the fact that we are improving the situation a little bit, but it seems to me like we have to have a proper survey in order to be able to make the motion properly and stuff. Right?
He'll need the proper survey to go back to the planning board. But if you were to just give him the variance on the frontage. For the one required for the flag lot, that meets the area.
Do we need to give them the variance on the property size with the new lines and the frontage on the new lines too?
So, well, technically what he needs is a variance for any
Thing that doesn't meet.
proposed lot that doesn't meet the frontage requirement. And any proposed lot that is less than 10,000 square feet.
Okay, so then I guess so I was writing my interpretation there. So the question is. On his application, does he have that in there? Or does he need to amend his application to put that in there?
Yeah, the original application was based on that survey map Mr. Cottrell prepared for the applicant. The most recent iteration is kind of a late breaking development based on the Historical Preservation Commission's input and Craig Polhamis's schematic, which Mike has been trying to sort through to make arithmetic sense out of.
Well, I guess my question is, can he amend his current application or does he need to do another one?
No, you can amend his current application.
Because my thought on this would be to table it, let him amend it properly and do the survey. Then when he comes back, we can give him the variances. Because I think right now we don't have a proper application, so we can't really do the variances because the application isn't proper by procedure. Unless I'm wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that from a
Yeah, no.
procedural point of view, we can't just amend the thing here tonight.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
confused.
That's what I was thinking originally, but since the HPC got involved in. I mean, at the end of the day, the plat's gotta be done correctly, to
Yeah.
file the map. If you're just acknowledging the proposed. Sketch. And allowing the 30 foot. frontage for the flag lot.
We can, I mean, we can discuss how we close the public hearing. I just want to get the procedure properly because I think the issue is we're gonna have to do it on all the lots with the frontage and with the size of the lot. But ultimately, I think we have to send them back to get to amend the thing properly so people have proper notice. And at the same time, get the survey done, so we can't vote on it, but we certainly can discuss what we feel about this so that he has at least an idea of how we're leaning, and that way it'll help him with his legwork that he's gonna do to come back before us for the meeting. That's fair,
Okay.
all right? Motion to close the public hearing?
Nobody have a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, any other comments on this? Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so, for me, I don't see it as a huge problem. I think it kind of makes that space make sense. It's gonna improve the lots, it's gonna improve the flow there for people, and there's no other way to solve the problem. So I don't
So
know
when they came the last time, Mike had put together, you know, a really nice depiction of this lot is this
Mhm.
frontage, and it's gonna go to this, and it's, you know, this area, and it's gonna go to that, you know, for each of the lots. Which I think is what we have to approve, right? Because you can't just say, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
worry about what the size is.
Yeah,
you know,
we can't prove anything tonight, but the point is that from a functional point of view, we're never gonna get these lots to 60 feet frontages, no matter what he does.
Right.
Unless you tear down houses and redo everything, which isn't gonna happen. And you're never gonna get them to 10,000 square feet. But we can't approve anything tonight because we don't have any of the proper documents for
Right.
what he wants. But from his point of view, he needs to know, is this worth pursuing? And I think that from a fairness point of view, I don't have any objections to any of this. Maybe,
So the reason we left it open at the last meeting, you weren't here, Mark, is that because we had an issue with the HPC. That bar has been cleared, it sounds like, so we're, that's the reason we didn't even
Right.
attempt to vote on it, because that got introduced into discussion. That's been resolved at this point, so this sounds relatively easy once we get the information. in front of us that we
I
can
don't-
basically vote on.
yeah, I don't think, but we can't vote on it tonight because of procedure. So I think that we should make a motion to table this for tonight and allow him to amend his application so we can have the proper things to approve. And he can get the survey done that he needs so that it's all tidy, so they can go get our approval and go back to the planning board. and finish.
We don't need the survey, is what I understand. We don't, this board doesn't need the survey, correct?
Right, we just need the technicality.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just need a map that clarifies.
But ultimately, you have to have the survey,
He's gonna
ultimately, you
have
have to have the survey from the planning board. So just
Yeah.
however you do it, that's up to you, but ultimately, he's gonna have the survey done anyhow. So if he gets it done, it's just one less thing he has to do.
You need it for the numbers,
Right,
to have the exact calculations, to
Yeah.
know the extent of the relief.
exactly.
And then the planning board will get the final product.
Yeah.
And confirm the subdivision.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I realized I have to get a new survey. I just didn't have time to
No, I
get
understand.
it for this meeting.
I just want to make sure we clarified it for you, so you didn't have to come back like 2 more months.
You
Okay,
wanted to make sure you were okay with it.
I just wanted to get a
Yeah.
general consensus if this
Absolutely.
is gonna fly or not fly, or I think I'm improving the whole
Absolutely.
situation down there.
Yeah, I think it's just a procedural issue for this. I don't think anybody on the board has any objections, so I don't think
you're hearing that, yes.
Yeah.
Once the proper.
so we have to have the proper documents, and we just want to make sure you have a process so you don't come back and get sent away again and, just trying to make it easy for you to get it all together.
So Pete and I were talking a little bit, and yes, it's 10 foot, add in that to the 117 or 115 property. Is that enough for a driveway? And it's not like, 10 foot, why not make it 12 or 15 if you're adding?
Yeah.
Other lots, so.
But that would be a planning board issue, not an issue for us, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's making the property bigger.
Oh, absolutely.
And, more than 10 feet, why not 12? So that's up to him and the surveyor.
Right, yeah.
But he can come back with that, but then we'll have the numbers. Either way, you're improving it. I don't think you're gonna have a problem. I think if you work with the surveyors and you work with Mike here, you could probably come up with a good plan that would make a lot of sense. And then I don't think you'll have a problem with presenting that to us.
I got a question for you though. So if like on 113. Just pictorially, probably those buildings are too close to the property line. So now you're gonna add 10 feet, but it's probably still gonna be too close to the property line. Does that need an another variance to supersede the first one, or?
The buildings are already there, so we don't have to deal with it.
So, yeah, I'm not.
Any
sure
new
where
buildings,
the
if he
buildings
goes
are.
to, if he goes to put a new building on, build a structure, then they'd have to deal with the setback, but for this, the setback isn't really relevant.
Between 113, 115, or 117, aren't we gonna get rid of one lot somehow and only have two lots? Or is it, am I
15 and
mistaken?
17 are gonna become one, aren't they?
Combining two lots into one.
They're combined,
Those two become one?
this one.
Yeah, and
gets
it-
over 10 feet.
Okay, so yeah, so
One-
we're
one
gonna
lot-
end up. Right now, we've got 113, 115, 117. The new picture is just gonna have either 113 and 115 or 115 and 117.
Correct. Right.
One of them's disappearing
Yep. All right.
and the other two are getting bigger.
Okay, so with that said. We have another case in front of us for
Okay,
Tracy.
so this will be continued to the,
Yeah, we made.
Yep.
We made a motion to table until next month, so,
sounds good. You just. Yeah,
and we got direction, so we're in good shape. So the next case is 315 East Genesee Street, a motion to open the public hearing.
You can hear the case first, you don't have to open for comment yet, if you want to introduce it first. It's even for the product.
How do you want to introduce it?
Want me to introduce it?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
so just by way of background, this one's got a little bit of a history to it also.
Okay,
The applicant's been before the planning board. They've got proposed improvements on both the Genesee Street side of the property and the Academy Street side of the property. It's currently a legal non-conforming structure. Because of a change in the improvements on the Academy Street side, a variance would be needed because it doesn't meet, they're going to expand a porch or a set of steps, and it won't comply with the current code requirements. So for that reason, they need a variance for a front yard setback, both sides of the parcels that front on the streets are considered front yards.
yep.
Okay.
It has been before the Historical Preservation Commission. Karen or Mike can let us know the result of that, because I did not attend that.
They were in agreement. This
They were
is
in
something that had been reviewed back in the fall of 2023. And they revisited it last week to affirm that now that he's ready to move forward with the plans, it's still approved.
So he would require a variance from this board, and then the applicant goes back to the planning board for site plan approval.
I think he's all set. The driveway was,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all, yeah. Planning
so
board.
yeah,
So-
so this is the final determination.
Okay,
for the
planning board's
portion.
approved it contingent on the zoning board's approval.
And if you want to just give me Academy Street, that'll be okay too.
Just give you the whole street.
Put a curb right across.
There you go.
Yes.
That'd be perfect.
So
And a sidewalk, put the grass.
Just know that your taxes will only triple,
You know,
if you do bad.
Hey, I mean, same here.
Take care.
So if you want to tell them anything additional as to the proposed.
No, I think
improvements.
you hit all the nails on the head. So our goal has always been, we've been doing some research and, we kind of want to restore the house to its original architectural structure. Dated way back, and I think in your package, you may have this picture.
$5,200, I'd like bought it for that.
Yeah, for 5,200, right? And there's a porch roof on the Academy Street side that spans the length of the porch that's still there today. And if you look at some of the abstract drawings that I threw together, this particular one, you'll see that it's page 2 in that flip thing. You'll see that I want to bring the steps all the way across the length of the porch. And in doing that, right now, this is the existing porch, reverse gable going into the side door there. And I want to remove that. And if you go back to that picture, I want to put a roof to go over back, over the entire length of the porch like it once was. So, and we also want to create a landing zone at the base of these steps, the patio, and I think. Let me get my drawing out here. I think we're at, I think we're at 2.3 feet away from that corner of the patio is 2.3 feet away from the property line. So we are looking to get approval to bring that a little closer.
In the original architecture, was there a landing zone there with like a wall?
If there was, you know, I can't really see,
From
the
that
picture
picture.
doesn't depict it, and I did to try to do as much research as I could. But it looks like the steps were further to the left as you're looking at the porch compared to where they are right now in the existing porch. They look like they're furthest to the left.
And that landing zone that you're building, is there like a wall, that could be like a wall around the landing zone?
There's a
Like a-
modest retaining wall, because see now the elevation has risen over years. And to where it's covered up the windows into the basement. And so in that process, to put this porch in and to meet the grade that is near to the driveway, we're gonna require a retaining wall just to hold the flower bed intact, so it doesn't kind of collapse into the patio pad. And that retaining wall is gonna be about 17 inches high,
Okay.
so it's not gonna be any higher than a chair.
And how close does that come to the sidewalk?
There's no sidewalk on that side.
Yeah, there's no sidewalk.
Oh, there isn't?
No.
So how close to the road does it come?
The whole thing will be 9.9 feet away from the road.
Okay, so if people walk through there, still can walk through there without.
Yeah,
And the plows will be able to go through fine
the
without.
plows will be able to go
Getting
through fine, plenty of room. There's actually room to park a car right there off of the road. Not that we want to make a habit of doing that, but there would be room there.
Okay.
I don't seem to find that picture that you're right here in my packet. Thank you.
You need one for, we have extras.
Right, but I haven't, one of the extra ones, thank you.
So you're looking for 21 feet of relief from the current 30-foot setback.
Sounds close.
That's what I want, reading it up, the applications.
And really, it's the same setback that currently exists.
That sounds where I was getting to.
Oh, you got it, thank you.
Yeah, so we will not.
Got this after.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not.
Because the improvement won't come any closer to the street line. It's gonna get wider.
Yeah, but it's not any closer.
Right, there's,
Parallel with what's existing.
And if that was considered a side yard as opposed to a front yard, the setback would be what, 10 feet?
Right.
So in reality, if that was a side yard, he's asking for a foot.
Yeah.
Right.
You're basically extending the stairs
Yeah, width-wise.
parallel.
me
You
wider.
know, it's not actually coming back farther than the house.
There is a stone pad there now.
Saw it.
Yeah, okay, so that's not gonna be any bigger than that stone.
Got it.
Everything that we're doing isn't going to be any larger than that stone pad.
All right, anybody have any comments?
Then open up the public hearing for the comment part now.
Thanks. Sometimes you're here to keep me straight because we haven't had meetings in like 7 months and I wasn't here for the last one, so I get a lot of practice.
Well, you get out of practice.
Motion to open the public comments.
Thank you.
I
So
have a
moved.
question about the.
Hang on, have a second.
This will come up next, that's
So
all.
moved to open for public comments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comments, go for it.
Question about the
You
parking.
speak, identify yourself, thank you.
My name's Sherry Weber, I live in Elm Street. If the, because I looked at the documents online and it said no proposed change to the parking. But then it had something that said proposed parking in the back. And so I wondered where the parking was gonna go that exists now, if it was gonna get covered up. And if there was gonna be parking lot made in the back of the house. Or how that was going to work.
I think it's referring to the driveway, it's really modified, the existing driveway is going to be widened. So that would allow for additional parking.
Right now, when you go up and down Elm Street, there are no parking signs on both sides, the east and west side.
No, that's not an Elm Street.
Academy.
And I'm sorry, Academy, thank you for correcting me, Academy Street. So, we have family that comes in and, you know, to and from, and when all the cars are there, we have no room for parking. We kind of have to steal parking from our neighbor across the street, the fitness center. And although they don't complain too much or ever, but to avoid that, we're widening our driveway.
I understand. I have the same problem with family on the driveway, so I understand what you're saying. I like green space in the village. I like to have less blacktop in the village. I also, I don't know, I'm just concerned about that. I'm also concerned about, there is no sidewalk there, but if there ever was a sidewalk put there, would it be?
There's a sidewalk on the east side of Academy.
I understand that. I probably walk on the street every day.
So how big is the square footage of the house?
4,000.
4,000. You know, how many bedrooms?
4.
4 bedrooms. So. As far as parking goes, you would need. Quite a bit more than what you have
Yeah,
for the house that size. You know what I'm saying?
and
Do any houses in the village have,
Right,
as much as they really need? I mean, it's part of the village, right?
if they have the capacity to. And make it bigger, they would.
I'm with you on green space. Yeah, I like green
Not trying.
better than pavement. But, you know, our hands are tied. And the other part of this, futuristically speaking, we may want to add a 1.5 car garage to that single car garage house, because if the house is, for as large as the house is, it's not that attractive for resale values. When you only have a single car garage, when somebody who wants to buy that home and live in it as a home, they're gonna want another 1.5 car garage. And, you know, we're looking at that futuristically.
But that's not on the table right now.
That's not on the table right now, but I just want I want the cars off the street when they're there, because, and I don't want plows to have to,
Otherwise, we'd be parking on your lawn,
right,
which is gonna look a lot worse.
which is gonna destroy the green space anyway, so, but yes. Yeah. So that's the challenge. And right now, there's 3 cars in the driveway and 1 here.
But for the sake of keeping on track tonight, the driveway doesn't require a variance and it's not before our board. So,
Right.
you know, we so noted your comments about the driveway. But that's not before the board at the moment. So
It's the side
It's the side setback.
setback.
Do you have any concerns about the proposed for the steps and the change of the landing area?
I think the house looks beautiful and, you've done a wonderful job. I just want to make sure the historic character of the village in many ways is preserved. And having huge driveways and huge flat top spaces doesn't
Yeah.
preserve the character of the village.
Appreciate that. Any other public comment? Motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Discussion?
What is the house used for now? Is it the single family apartments, like, I couldn't count.
It's a single family.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a single family.
It's a big house.
A lot of work been done on that house the last few years.
it was a COVID project. Yeah, we took out a saw and opened up a wall and figured out that we could remove it, and that's what we did. So, and then
One thing led to another.
one thing led to another.
Anybody got any concerns? Questions?
I don't have any questions or concerns. I'll forward to-
All right,
If the board wants to look at page 2 of the draft resolution, I guess, there are 5 criteria. Yeah. I think that should
let's do it.
be reflected. So number 1, based on the applicant's proposal, if approved, would there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties?
I'd say no to that.
No,
No, unanimously, no.
Uh, Number 2, can the applicant achieve the benefit by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance? Unfortunately, the lot's only as big as the lot is.
I would say,
so-
I would say no.
I would say no.
I would say no.
Unanimously, no on number 2.
Number 3, is the area variance request substantial?
I think based on the math it is, but not based the way it's currently existing. So we're asking for a 21 foot of relief. If you were to look at just if the cold hard math, I would say yes to that. Not that it matters on the.
Yes.
But
Understood.
It is, yes, it is substantial.
Yeah, I mean, again, from the existing thing, it's basically mirroring the existing
Right.
thing with the exception of the retaining wall. So I'd say it's not really substantial only because of the fact that it already exists that way. They're just basically improving it. They're cleaning it up and making it better. So I don't think it's substantial, even though it sounds substantial. It's non-conforming lot that's already non-conforming. He's not really making it any more non-conforming. He just getting, he's just getting permission to do what he needs to do.
I agree if it said a foot, but it says 21 feet.
No,
It's
no,
what you have to
I
record. So,
agree with you that number wise,
Number 4, will the variance have an adverse
So is
effect?
that unanimous or Mark, you were thinking no, whatever you want?
I can go either way. I'll go with the group and say that it's substantial. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's
It is.
it's not gonna make a difference.
Dissenting vote.
Yeah, and
Yeah, no, I don't.
It doesn't change.
It's not gonna change. It's not gonna change
as the
anything.
board recalls, none of these,
Right.
the answers to any of these are not fatal.
Right, right.
It's
It- yeah.
just
It's
getting
just,
the board to
it's
consider.
just,
the
it's just
totality
semantics.
of
It's
what's
just how you
going
look at it. I'm good with it.
Number 4, will the variance have an adverse effect on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or the district?
no,
No, unanimous, no.
And then the last one is whether or not the difficulty was self-created.
I actually would say no on
In this case,
Because
it was
there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This is what I'm stuck on. Because if he wasn't gonna take his steps wider, he wouldn't have a problem.
Left the steps there, it would be.
they just left it the way it is.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's self-created because if he didn't decide to make the steps bigger, he wouldn't be before us. This is one of those questions.
I made the steps longer. I didn't make them bigger.
Well, yeah, this is one of
Long.
this is one of those, this is one of those questions. It's like, did you create the situation? Did you drive the car and hit the telephone pole or did the telephone pole jump in front of you? Was it self-created? Well, if the telephone pole wasn't there, I wouldn't have hit it. So therefore it wasn't self-created because the pole shouldn't have been there.
The first-
Change in the zoning.
The first portion of the draft resolution just acknowledges that for seeker purposes, this matter would be considered type 2 under New York State regulations. When a matter is a type 2 action, the board has no further responsibility to undertake a review of environmental issues, and it can proceed to the variance application itself. So if the board's in agreement, somebody can propose a motion to adopt type 2 seeker findings.
Motion.
To adopt.
Jack.
Or two.
Jack moves. Any second?
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous.
Yep, and as to the variance resolution, the bottom of the first page is just the background of how the applicant started the process with the planning board and ended up here at the zoning board after review by the planning board and then Historic Preservation Commission. Page 2 of the draft resolution obviously was a resuscitation of the 5 factors. And then on the final page, page 3, somebody would typically make a motion to either approve or deny the variance based on the review of the criteria you look through on page 2.
Motion.
I move that we approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Thank you.
Variance is
It's
granted.
gonna look nice.
Look forward to seeing it.
Oh, you're not kidding. So do I. I look forward to sitting in the chair on it.
Tired of the broken steps.
Well, yeah, they weren't safe. They were falling apart, crumbling. So we just, you know what, I'm done.
We've been here a couple of years.
Yeah, and same thing with the front. I mean, if they're to the point, we told Karen a long time ago, we made a decision, we either have to preserve or get out. And if you want the house to be there for another 200 years, we need these improvements to
Fix things.
make that happen.
We're grateful that he is.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, this man's help. I mean, I gotta call him, Mike, can I do this?
Mike knows the rules.
Well, I would.
Mike says,
I'm
yeah,
very
do it
good
after
at saying
dark.
But Mike knows how to say no, so be careful with that. I was
Well,
really good at no.
I call him up and he comes over and I said, I wanted, and he goes, well, you need to do, and I'm like, perfect, that's all I need to do here. So it's been, it's been a blessing to have helping us.
It's awesome. Mike does a good job.
No,
Either help or hinder.
no, I mean, so it's been great.
So,
So you're done, you don't have to go to any more meetings.
So I make a motion to go get a glass of wine.
on the new front porch.
When it's done. I'll come over. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, a motion to approve the last meeting's minutes.
I moved that we approved the last meeting's minutes.
Everybody saw them, looked at them,
Yeah.
they're okay.
I did.
Not for me. I'm
Thank you
abstaining
again.
because I wasn't here.
I'll second.
It's that you don't, actually, Larry. I always feel like I burst his bubble. And Mark, actually, for the record, to vote on meeting minutes, you don't have to be in attendance for that particular meeting. You are proving that the minutes read properly and made sense. If you understood what transpired at that meeting, but
Okay.
there's something we had looked into, it's not a requirement.
All right, well then.
Just
then I'm-
so
I'm-
everybody
Okay,
knows.
so I'm on board. They're fine.
So.
They're not fine. I wouldn't know it, so. They made
They
sense.
look like they're.
They made sense to me. I mean, I read them. They could be totally wrong. It could have been a different meeting, but,
So it captured what happened
Yeah.
in meetings.
okay.
So Jack, made the motion and who seconded? it?
All those in favor?
I
Thank you. Just-
Any new business? Great. How would a motion